need to do a little extra today because yesterday I wound up a little bit short on where I wanted to go with this. What's your favorite way to remember to multiply and divide sign numbers? I hope that the answer that you put was this. When you multiply or divide by a positive, the answer stays, the sign stays the same. And when you multiply or divide by a negative, the sign changes. Now, two very quick examples of that are, every time the computer turns off, it does this. And I actually have a tech request in to fix it so that I don't have to look like a monkey doing absolutely mind-numbing task here. All right. So, if I do 7 times -4, if I do -7 times -4, and if I do -7 times 4, let's notice what this all works out to. Ready?
Yeah.
When I multiply by a negative, I'm multiplying by both the 4 and the negative. 7 times 4 is 28. That's never going to change. But since I multiplied by a negative, I need to negate my previous answer. This was a +7, so now it becomes a negative. So the answer is -28. Likewise, I'm multiplying here by both the 4 and the negative. If I multiply by the 4, that gives me the 28. But now I have to negate the first sign. It was negative, so the answer is +28. Next one. I'm again multiplying by, this time it's only a multiply here. I'm multiplying by a +4, so 7 times 4 is 28. Since it's positive, I keep this sign. I don't change it. The answer is -28. That, through all my years of teaching, that's the best way to understand what's going on with sign numbers, multiplying and dividing, because it's going to be really helpful when we subtract polynomials. It's going to be really helpful when we solve inequalities with negative exponents, negative coefficients. It's going to be helpful probably 3 or 4 other times during the year, and the knowledge will easily transfer to other concepts. If you don't learn it this way, those other concepts will be much more difficult to understand. So for your sake, I hope you learn it that way. God bless. What shortcut did you learn for evaluating 10 to a positive power like 10 to the 7th? So what's the answer for 10 to the 7th? We did this yesterday. The answer is going to be a 1, and then what goes after the 1? 7 zeros. Very good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I get 10 million. God bless. 10 million. All right? Any questions?
No.
All right. So now let's take a look at some more homework answers. I don't know if you remember much about this, but you should have learned this last year. This is called absolute value. Absolute value takes whatever's on the inside and makes it positive. So here's the minus sign. This is the same minus sign. And then the -3 becomes +3. The reason absolute value makes things positive is absolute value means distance from 0. It is impossible to get a negative distance. If someone says to you, how far did you run today? You can't say, I ran -0.5 mile. I can tell you over the last 2 days, I have ridden my bike 60.1 miles. Yeah, and I'm going to do another 15 tonight. So by the end of tonight, I'll be past 75 miles for the last 3 days.
You do it in the morning.
I do 10 in the morning and I do 15 in the evening. So I have a hard enough time waking up I wake up at about 5:10. I'm on my bike by 5:30. I'm off the bike by it takes me about 37 minutes to ride 10 miles. So then I hop in the shower and I get ready for my school day. Feed Bauer his morning supplements for his diet. And then I'm off to school. So gotta do what you gotta do. All right, next questions. This is very indicative of the last few days' work. Take a look, see how you did. Again, these questions are a lot like the questions that you would be getting on your quizzes. So if you can't do these, you might miss something on your quiz. If you can do these, you will get the questions on your quiz back. See? All right. Any of these you want to go over?
No.
Are we okay? We're good? Okay. The sum of two negatives is always positive. That's never true. What's negative 3 plus negative 2?
-5.
Negative 5. Is that a positive answer?
No, that's
No,
not
it's a negative answer. It'll always be negative. So when you get questions like this, I suggest you just try a few examples and see what happens. -1 and -2 make -3. -100 and -100 make -200. If you have negatives and you add more negatives, your answer is going to be what? Negative. It'll never be positive. So, never. Next one, the result of a positive number raised to a negative exponent is negative. And this was the point at which we left class yesterday. So I'm going to go back and explain this one in just a minute, but I want to catch up on what we didn't quite finish from yesterday. 18 is pretty straightforward. 19 is straightforward. 20, 21, 22, 23, and now 24. 7 to the -3. This is the point where we broke down yesterday. Now, every person in here knows if it just said 7 to the +3, everybody would know that that means 7 times 7 times 7, and if you did the math, it would come out to 343. The problem is it doesn't say 7 to the 3. What does it say? Everybody stand up. Come on, stand up. Look this way, don't circle around. Now, you are going to have someone in your class, teaching class on November the 18th. He's a former student of mine.
Oh, yeah.
Harry the Rock. He's going to come in full dress uniform from the Army. He's a colonel in the Army. And there are some things best learned from a military point of view. The military just teaches it better than regular people teach it. And negative exponents would be one of them. So we're going to pretend you're in the Marines or you're in the Army.
Oh, no, Marines.
And I
Marines.
am the drill instructor. So I'm going to say, ha, negative exponent. And you're going to say, reciprocal, sir. Ha, negative exponent.
Reciprocal, sir.
That stunk. Ha, negative exponent.
Reciprocal, sir.
I am giving you permission to yell in class. And you're sitting here like, ha, negative exponent.
Reciprocal, sir.
Now we're getting there. One more. Ha, negative exponent.
Reciprocal, sir.
At ease. Have a seat.
Thank you.
Now, when I say, excuse me, when I say negative exponent, that's what we have here with the -3. And some people think, and it kind of makes sense kind of until you get a little bit deeper about it, with a negative exponent, the answer ought to be negative. The negative exponent has absolutely nothing, boys. The negative exponent has absolutely nothing, Lenny, to do with the negative in the answer. Nothing to do with it. It has to do with the fact that as soon as you see this negative exponent, it's 1 over 7 to the 3. The reciprocal, it means 1 over. It means flip it. In this case, it used to be over 1, so now it becomes 1 over. So it's 1 over 7 to the 3rd, so the answer is 1 over 343. You try this one, ready? 2 to the -4. Go ahead. Oh, negative exponent. Think about it, get your answer. So, who thinks they know the answer? Go ahead.
1 over 16.
Nice. The negative exponent means reciprocal, so it's 1 over, and then it's going to be 2 to the 4th power, which is 1 over 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So 1 over 16 is the correct answer. Okay? That covers what we were supposed to be learning yesterday. Now, one of the things that you notice about my homeworks, and you notice about the do-its, and you notice about the quizzes, is that we constantly come back to things over and over and over again. So maybe on a particular day, I don't cover a lesson as thoroughly as I wanted to. But the fact that we go over that lesson so many times in so many ways in so many future lessons, or that topic anyway, you are still going to get it and still going to understand it. Okay. Now, today's lesson sheet. Fill that. Slide up. Let's get some answers going here. Ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to call you your name. You tell me the answers. Number 1, what do we get? Talk to me. Yell it out. -7. Good. Next one. Good. Next one. Nice. 4. Oh, this is wrong. Hold it. Slow down. 1 through 5, we did well. This stunk. -5 squared means -5 times -5. Just take a second to write that. The squared refers to everything in the parentheses. What is -5 times -5? 25. Good. All right, -5 cubed. -125. If I do -5 times -5, I get 25. Then if I put another -5 onto the list, that's -125. Right as a series of factors. We did a lot of this yesterday. 5 and n. Okay? Any questions?
No.
All right. Now, okay. See if you can figure out what this first one is. X to the second times x to the third. Give it a shot. Think about it. What do you think that answer is going to be? X to the second times x to the third. Oh, it's nice. Okay. Who thinks they know? Ava? That's what you would think. Jonathan?
X 2 plus 5.
No.
7x? 7 x's? Like,
That's a great way to explain it, but 7x's does not mean 7x. X plus x plus x, a total of 7 times, is 7x. But you're on the right track. X squared is xx.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Yeah.
X to the 5th is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do I have altogether there?
7.
7 of them, and that's an exponent situation because it's multiplication. So the answer is x to the 7, not x to the 10. So it would make, like, the intuitive thing to do is what Ava said. And when Ava said it, a number of people put their hands down in the room because they were all thinking like her. I said, oh, look, I see times. I see a 2 and a 5. 2 times 5 is 10. But that's not how we deal with exponents. When we deal with exponents, we got to think x squared means xx. X to the 5th means 5 more of those x's. Altogether, that's x to the 7. Now, what do I do to the 2 and the 5 to somehow come up with 7? Add them. So this is going to be x to the a plus b.
but why do you add them? Because it says multiply.
Yeah.
When you multiply, you literally write xx, then you write xxxxx, and then you tell me what's there.
So then what do you do when you add x?
Oh, you can't. You cannot add x squared plus x to the 5th. That, Ava, is a lot like going to the store and saying, what do you have if you get 2 pairs of jeans and 5 pairs and 5 blouses? You got 2 pairs of jeans and 5 blouses. They're different things. You can't add them. You can only add them if they're alike. Now, if it was an x squared plus another x squared, that would give me 2x squared.
Okay.
All right. So, x to the a plus b would be the rule for that. Now, let's practice a couple of those. It is easy once it makes sense to you. What's a to the 5 times a to the 2? Everybody? A to the 7. Good. What about d to the 7 times d to the 7?
14.
Nice. What about, now we're getting a little bit fancy here. You see this number in front?
Yeah.
The 3 and the 5. We got a fancy word for that in math. The word is coefficient. Everybody say coefficient. Good. Turn to the person next to you. Say coefficient means the number in front. Very good. Rachel, talk to me. Tell me the coefficient means number in front. Come on, your lips didn't move. Say coefficient means the number in front. Very good. Okay. Now, 3 and 5. 3 and 5 are coefficients. When we have coefficients, we multiply coefficients, we add exponents. Everybody say multiply coefficients, add exponents. Good. What's 3 times 5? 15. And then it's going to be w to the 7. So we multiply the coefficients, we add the exponents. Next up, what would we get?
Negative 6x.
You get 8 and x 5.
8x to the 5th is
There
correct.
you go.
Negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8. Multiplying by that negative there, you have to change the first sign. Add the exponents. 8x to the 5th is perfect. Try the next one.
Yeah.
So you're going to do the numbers, the coefficients, then you're going to do the a's, then you're going to do the b's, and it's all going to be one answer.
Okay.
3 times 5. Multiply coefficients, add exponents. Okay, what do we have here? Miss Aragon, what do you think? All right, it is 12, not 15. Okay? Hey, focus. This is a very good question for teaching. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. Now, even though we don't write it, there's little ones on that b and on this a. So 2 plus 1 is a to the third, and b1 times b to the third is b to the fourth. So it's 12, a to the third, b to the fourth. Okay? Try this last one over here. Now, what's negative 7 times 3? Negative 21. I'm multiplying by a positive, so the sign stays the same. What exponent is on this x, even though we don't bother to write it? 1. So, and there's a 1 here. So x to the 1 times x to the 1 is? X to the 2. Y to the 2 times y to the 3. Y to the 5. Z to the 5 times z to the 1. Z to the 6th. Okay, good. So again, the key to this is multiply coefficients, add exponents. Yes?
So if there's no exponent on, you have to add them.
Yes, because there really is one of them there. There's not none of them there.
Oh.
Okay. Now, next up, 1588 over 3a. So let's try to think about a law for this one. 15, if I go 88, I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 over 3a. Now, what is 15 divided by 3? 5. I can kill those a's, because a divided by a is just 1. And then it would be a to the 7. So remember before how we multiplied coefficients and added exponents?
Yeah.
Now, I divide coefficients, 15 divided by 3, and there's really a 1 here. What do I do to the 8 and the 1 to get 7? Subtract. So if I'm multiplying, I multiply coefficients, add exponents. If I'm dividing, I divide coefficients, subtract exponents. Yes? Yes. Take the pass from the back and I'll check it off in just a minute. Okay, so you try the next one. See what you can come up with. Okay, so in dividing coefficients and subtracting exponents, what's negative 15 divided by 3? Negative 5. And what's a to the 8th over a to the 2? A to the 6th. Very good. Try the next one. Negative 15 divided by negative 3. 5. A to the 4. Good. And the next one here, negative 20 divided by negative 5?
4.
4. X to the 4th divided by x? x to the 3. Subtract exponents when you divide it. Y to the 6 over y to the 2? Y to the 4. Very good. Okay, one last law of exponents to learn for today. When you raise a power to a power, you multiply. So the answer to this is x to the 8. What do you think the answer to the next one is?
W15.
W to the 15. Very good. All right, we'll finish up a little bit more tomorrow. Hasta la vista. Vaya con Dios. Toodaloo. Ta-ta. Arrivederci. Smile a lot. Ciao. Arrivederci. Adios amigos y amigas. Cheerio. Ta-ta. Garushurus. Kadafis.
Bye, Mom.
Bye, Mom. There you go.